Hey, Fee here. It's good to see you again. If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll probably know that I was rejected by Amazon about 4 years ago. And yeah, it's one of my most popular videos. And I'm here to set the record straight. So if you saw that video, you'll know that I got rejected 2 times within the span of 3 months. And it sucked. I did get a different offer. I didn't like it nearly as much as working at some kind of big company. I don't think the experience was that great. But yeah, today we're going to dive into how I redeemed myself and restored my ability to look myself in the mirror. After that, we can discuss some interview details. We can look at the literal offer letter. We can go over the details of like the TC breakdown, that's the compensation breakdown. And also, we can talk about whether or not I regret the decision of not taking the role or not. Drop a comment down below with your guess right now. I want to know what you think about whether or not I regret the decision or not. So 2 years after being rejected, I finally got an offer from Amazon, and I was just too busy in the grind to make a video about it. All right, to be fair, in 2022, it was the tail end of like the software engineering euphoria, so it really seemed like interviews and getting accepted was a lot easier back then. So take this with a grain of salt. I still see it as a pretty bow on my Amazon interview saga. As far as interview prep, at that point I'd done about 125 leak code questions, and I was pretty heavy into AlgoMonster. I really like their platform and the way it works from like a ground up kind of data structures, knowledge, building kind of platform. So pretty much if you have no knowledge in data structures and algorithms, you can start with AlgoMonster, and I think that's a great place to grow your data structures and algorithms knowledge. As far as the language I chose, it was pretty, I guess, untraditional for a backend engineer to choose JavaScript, but that was my language of choice, and I really doubled down and did all my leak code in JavaScript, and also learned how to implement data structures and algorithms in JavaScript. And I don't really feel like I faced any discrimination for choosing JavaScript. I thought that I would. I remember spending hours searching, is JavaScript a good language for backend interviews? And it ended up being a non-issue. So like any standard Amazon interview process, it starts off with a HackerRank challenge. I took the challenges, passed them, and then I got a follow-up from the recruiter talking about scheduling on-sites. But before that, it was kind of a confusing process of like choosing what team I wanted to interview with and things like that. So I ended up doing a split interview where I had the possibility of going onto some machine learning like shopping team where they basically do like a self-checkout thing in your cart, or it was a database team. It was like Aurora, I think. So each interview started off with some like leadership style question, and you basically just practice that beforehand by mapping your previous experience with some leadership skills. And then it's just a memorization game at that point. You just regurgitate what you practiced. I don't exactly remember what system design question I had, but as far as the coding questions, I had one question where I had to develop some kind of basically badging system where you would count how many people were in the building at any specific time. And the other question was some like really hard graph question that honestly I did embarrassingly on. The manager had to help me, give me a lot of hints throughout that question. And I thought I failed, to be honest, but he ended up thinking that I did pretty well. I think it's because I collaborated with him pretty well in that interview with the hints, and we ended up solving the question. So after these interviews, I'm pretty much falling asleep. There was another short interview with the director, and that went pretty well. It was just like a chit-chat pretty much. And yeah, after that, I was just waiting for the results. And the next day, I got the call from the recruiter saying that she was going to draft up the offer letter, and I got it that afternoon. At this point, I'm super hyped. I've never gotten a big tech offer before, and here it is. Just Amazon. I printed it out for prop purposes. Really, I'm just going to show it on the screen. So here you go. It's right here or over here. I'm not really sure which side I'm going to put it on. So as far as the compensation details, the base salary would have been $140K, way more money than I had ever seen in my life. But if you really think about it, these high cost of living areas are basically a different country, and it doesn't even, the numbers don't even make sense when compared to a place like Louisiana where I was from. As far as stock goes, I was granted, well, they would have granted me 34 shares pre-split. So after the split, it's like times 20. what is it, 34 times 20? Oh, that's, 680. Yeah. And on top of that, there was a sign-on bonus. For year one, it was 49,700, and then for year two, it was 34,300. So that would have ended up being a rough total compensation of about 195 per year. If I did not sell any stock, I'm not really sure. I'm not gonna go back in time to see what the stock prices were at the time, but it was it was a great offer for me at the time. Like I said earlier, the role was for a general backend position, but the product was using machine learning and AI pretty heavily. So the manager pretty much told me that eventually I would be able to get some training in machine learning and AI, which, I don't really believe. Even to this day, I don't really believe that. So the reason I didn't accept was because I got an offer that was substantially better in terms of total compensation, but also they were more generous with their relocation package and also more lax with the time frame of me moving to the Seattle area, which I'm really glad I did because it was a huge pain organizing a move cross country to the Seattle area. I ended up paying like $10,000 out of pocket after even the generous relocation package. So do I regret it? I don't know. Machine learning, AI is pretty huge right now, but one thing I have noticed is that the machine learning AI field is less welcoming to people with no degree, whereas there's not really that stigma in the security field. So I think I made the right choice. Do you think I effed up? Let me know in the comments.